My name is Bill Haley for Haley 2024, The Movement's Government Reform Ideas. This video is going to be on securing an election and how can we do the actual voting process a little bit more securely so more people can have a assurance that it is done correctly and there's no fraud going on behind the scenes. So let's go through it. So when computers and scan type of counting, it will be difficult to reassure citizens that there are elections, that the elections are truthful. So when we have computers involved in it, when we have scan type voting, when we have computer doing things, a lot of people can't be secure in it. So let's do some things to make them more assured that the count is actually correct. And another big thing is we want to have a private ballot. So how do we balance that with making sure we see what's going on? So there are radical steps to being transparent while keeping an anonymous ballot. So I'm just saying the same thing over again in a different way. So 100% of the ballots are done in person. So I already know there's going to be issues there. So let's discuss some of the issues why some people think it cannot be all done in person, why we have to have mail-in ballot or whatever. I want 100% done in person. Military bases, embassies across the seas, and registrar's locations, that's the registrar is the office dealing with elections. Locations around the world, or around the country, more like it, where they can pull up and put any ballot, pull up any ballot and print it up. So if you are a military person, you can't go back home. You can go to your military base and then registrars will be there, well trained, knowing what to do, well steeped into the law of it. They can pull up any ballot. All you have to do is type up your name, maybe your voter ID number, and they will be able to locate you, your address, your name, and then a simple database. That will be attached a ballot to your name, and that they can pull that up. So there's no excuse to have to go and mail in a ballot just because you're in the military. And if you're out to sea or you're in a special location or whatever, you can do that a little bit earlier. But very low amount of people that can do that earlier. We'll discuss that in a little bit. Each local registrar will have teams to handle the people that are that have a difficult time making it to the polls. So we're talking the elderly or people cannot get out of the house too easily. People cannot make it to the polls. People who have a surgery that day and the like. They will have to have 1 week before Tuesday's deadline. So a week before that Tuesday deadline, that Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday, they're going to have teams of at least 2, maybe 3, to go around house to house, old folks' homes or whatever, assisted living, and making sure we have teams to make sure there's not fraud going on. And those teams have to be very much picked by the Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, the main political parties. Not necessarily those, but the main political parties, especially the ones picked by the candidates that are on the ballot. And there'll be a process for that. Every voter gets a ballot. Every voter getting a ballot will be photographed. So when you are picking up your ballot, when you are in person, you will be photographed. That way they have a record of who was there. Plus, I didn't even put it on the screen here. Your photo will be in the computer system when you check in to get a ballot. Your photo, they will have not just your name, your address, and a couple other issues, your age and stuff, but it will have your photograph. So your photograph will pull up. So no longer do we have to worry about a photo ID because your photo will be part of your record and they can see who it is and make sure we don't have a problem with junior versus senior and the like. Make sure we are checking in the right person. But the photograph that you take when you're checking in will be public. 100% live and always online. Therefore, people can go back later and say, hey, I see that person got checked in as John Smith. That's not John Smith. It doesn't match up the photo in the system, and the public will have that access too. They will go through each person checking in, the photo that's supposed to be in the registrar's office, in the computer, and make sure there's a match there. And obviously, there'll be some issues there, but I think we need to have that the secureness of the election is more important than a little bit of privacy. It is public knowledge of who goes to vote now. That there's records of that. People can get that. I ran for office at one point, and I was able to get everybody who ran for who went in to vote, who at least got checked in to vote. Anyway, let's go through some more. That is all online, so people can spot fraud. So that's a big issue. People are spotting fraud. And again, if you have if your photo is being taken at the time you are getting your ballot, and your ballot never leaves there, your ballot's the property of the state, then your ballot never leaves the polling location. You vote, you put it into the ballot box, and you're done. Therefore, no deceased person can vote. Okay. All paper ballots, keeping all ballots in piles of less than 500. Okay, so all paper ballots, no computer voting. They can be computer scanned in, but no computer voting. So 100% paper ballots. And then let's go through it. Let's go through it. Then less than 500 with specific voters assigned to each batch. So if there's any fraud that goes on, any fraud that's detected, we can go get those 500 or less than 500. It's 500 maximum. So if there's 300, that's fine. But it's 500 maximum. So we can, the judge can throw out a whole batch, go back and get those 500 voters and let them re-vote to secure the election. Right now, if a ballots, a big old batch of ballots don't have the correct chain of custody, the solution is what? To throw them out and disenfranchise all those legitimate voters, even though, let's say 10% might be illegitimate because of the chain of custody issue. We don't want to disenfranchise those people, but do we really know who those voters, those ballots came from? So we're going to assign specific people to that batch. And it can be done after the fact. Whoever goes into that location, we can assign them a batch. And if they get to over 100 in that precinct, 500 in that precinct, we close off that batch, we start a new batch. And then specific voters are done with that batch. So your ballot will, you will know where your ballot is. Those batches counted on site. So they get scanned through a scanner on site. The image of each ballot is created and kept in its batch. So a batch of 500 or less, let's just say they're all 500, make things easier for right now. They're kept in that batch of 500, and then online immediately when they're scanned in, they go online. And then each party gets to have each political party gets to bring in their scan machine and go through those 500 ballots, scan them in, and they get to put them online. People can compare the two. There's one official one, the first one that gets done through. Then you secure those. Then each political party gets to run through those 500 through their machine, make sure they're all the same. The first initial one is the correct one, the official one. The other political parties can judge against it. And if there's discrepancies, they can go to a judge and quickly try to figure out what's going on. But then those 500 in a batch get put into a very, very secure bag, and that is sealed up, and that is that can be going through if there's issues. So, but first things first, they get scanned through. You get the official one. You get both political parties, if not 3 or 4 political parties, to scan it through their machines to make sure their images are correct. So it's going to be very, very difficult. And the image scanners are going to be very, very low tech. Basically almost like a copy machine, creating a PDF with very little ability to make sure that computer can't do shenanigans, do false votes and the like. Each party gets to run the ballots through their own machines. Okay, anyone can go online and look at each batch and double check if the count matches the images on the ballot. So once it goes through that machine, it gets uploaded to the website. You know exactly where it came from. You know exactly the voters that those are attached to. So those 500 voters belong to those 500 ballots. And you see the image of every ballot. Plus, easy for computer programs to check. So these PDFs or images are going to have to be in a format that images can go through, and the computer programs can go through and double check those. So it's very low tech computer program to scan it in, make an image, no chance for it to do anything else. So plus the political parties get to make those images as well. Voters will have a location on the ballot to write a special little code so they can find their ballot online. So you can put in a special little 4 or 5 digit code or squiggly line or whatever, and out of 500, you will identify your ballot. Nobody else will know. But you're going to be able to identify your ballot to make sure mine was in there, it was counted, and it is secure. And that will stop any computer program from trying to manipulate things and say, hey, this is what happened. Precinct locations will have a video camera everywhere. And I mean everywhere, with the one exception of it has to keep the ballot private, who you voted for. Otherwise, there's cameras everywhere. People coming in, people going out. A couple right around the ballot box itself to make sure it's not being tampered with, or people stuffing the ballot box, or people taking ballots out, or good lock and key, but there's cameras there to make sure it's there. And that's all live, it's all public, and it's always online forever. Voters will have the opportunity to show a ballot to the camera before putting it into the ballot box, anonymously if they wish. So maybe there'd be a little camera off to the side. You could show it to the camera, and that's live. People, and then put it into the ballot box. That's another just fail-safe way to make sure, hey, that ballot got shown. Then they can match it up to the ballot, to the ballots that ballot images. Voting will take place in 2 days. The Saturday before the Tuesday and that Tuesday voting day. So the normal Tuesday voting day plus the Saturday before, those 3 days apart. And that's for people who have to work on that Tuesday and they'll have off on that Saturday. It gives them 2 days. So I want some evening hours on one of those days, probably the Saturday. So anyway, special exceptions are limited to 1%. So if you're having surgery, you're going to be out for a while. There can be some special exceptions. You're going on a business trip where you can't even get to that registrar's office on election day. We do make a very, very few exceptions, but that's going to be very few. That still has to be done in person, and those are still going to be in batches of 500 at a legitimate registrar's location, and only within a week. That still has to be within a week of the election. That Monday before that, 8 days before that Tuesday or so, to start off that election. So we don't have less than 1%, other than that Saturday and that Tuesday, can be done outside of that. And that's mostly going to be going into that nursing homes and stuff like that. Okay, Saturday shifts between 6 and 2 p.m. That gives people a chance to only work 8 hours there, probably 9 or so because you're counting ballots. And then right now people are working 15-hour days. I've done it before, where I was a registrar, and it's a long day. So we split the Saturday shifts up into 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. I know that's 8 hours for voting, but that's probably 10 hours worth of work. And maybe if not 11. And then 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. gives people those Saturday night hours, those evening hours, gives everybody the ability to vote. And that's, again, 7 hours plus about 3 hours worth of before setup time and breakdown time, different people. So somebody's not working so long and making mistakes. Okay, Tuesdays from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. I want to end this one early for the simple fact that we need to have results on election night. And then at 4 p.m., the polls close. Anybody left in line can still vote. So let's give it until about 4:30, 5 o'clock at the end. They're in batches of 500. So there's no reason why things should be done past 6 p.m. on election day. So 6 p.m. on election day should be like the max time, the latest time that the batches should be scanned through. So anybody after 6 p.m., there's issues, and we need to go back and check on those cameras and find out what happened. Okay, the staffing budget needs to go mostly to the public school system. I know the public school system has a disproportionate number of Democrats versus Republicans. So we're going to have Republican Party, Democrat Party, Libertarian Party really get to go out and pick people within the public school system, the public school teachers, and really try to make this 50-50, if not. And then obviously Libertarian Party, Democrat, Socialist Party, whatever other groups are out there, get to have special say in trying to staff those people up using the public school system. So to be in public schools, so the venue is going to be, we have enough parking, you have enough room in the cafeteria or the like, and or the gymnasium, whatever the best place is. So we have a location, we have the normal staff, we have the staffing of the public school system, so you don't have to get a lot of these elderly people who are maybe not as up on their game as younger people are, and can last the long day. Okay, and then we want some to go to the police department too, the staffing to go to the police department. Obviously, we want these places to be secure, and they don't have to be necessarily in uniform, but they need to be armed, and they need to be ready to take care of business if somebody tries to have a problem. So yeah, usually there's 7, 8, 9 people on a big election, 3, 4 people on smaller elections, but a police officer being there can create this, have a security portion of this, and they are very law oriented on that. Then 25% really should go to lawyers. Obviously, we're not going to be able to pay them lawyer rates, $200 an hour and the like, but a lot of lawyers are interested in elections, and if they can get a okay level of pay for the day, then let them go in there, and they're going to make sure things are more legally oriented and making sure things go to the letter of the law. Make sure we're not going outside of the letter of the law. They're very much, they have a lot more integrity. I'm not saying all lawyers have a lot of integrity, but they don't want to lose their law license, and they're going to make sure that the law is upheld. They're very good on, hey, what does this mean? And have that mindset. So, and again, the Republican Party, the Democrat Party, Libertarian Party, all the different parties that want to, they could go pick their lawyers and do that. The political parties have preferential staffing picks, but also vetoes other people. So if a political party knows that one person on the other side doesn't have that integrity level, they can have some veto over that. That's within limitations. They might have to show a little bit of proof, but if they see that somebody's really not up on their game on integrity, then they get to pull somebody out because we want to secure the election. Okay, Haley 2024 asked that's a significant improvement off the current system. A lot more integrity. Will be a lot harder to cheat, a lot harder to have dead people vote, a lot harder for people to stuff the ballot. We try to cover as many bases as there is possible. Obviously, there's a whole issue about who gets to vote in the first place, who's registered, illegal immigrants and the like, making sure that they're not on the ballot or not in the voting rolls. But I call for something significantly different within Haley 2024. Even better, I want to go for representative agencies. So this is a 20-minute video right now. I'm going to go to a different video. Look through my website at haley2024.org, and you're going to be able to see what representative agencies are. I'm going to do a video on that, and we're going to that's going to be a significant improvement for people to have representation. But within the current system, what I just laid out would be a tremendous help. So everything can be easily found on haley2024.org. Please consider a donation for my 501c3 organization. And until the next video.